all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is Monday, the 23rd of November. In the top news, it's still early days, but big changes could be afoot in India's banking sector. An internal working group set up by the Reserve Bank of India has recommended that large corporate or industrial houses be allowed to set up banks in India. Now, according to the group headed by RBI Central Board Director P.K. Mohanty, such a move can be allowed once the Banking Regulations Act is amended and the supervisory wing of the regulator is thoroughly strengthened. A large corporate, industrial or business house in this context means a group having total assets of 5,000 crore rupees or more, where the non-financial business of the group accounts for more than 40% in terms of total assets or gross revenues. Besides that, the working group also recommended that the cap on promoters' stake in banks in the long run, that is, over 15 years, be allowed to be raised from the current level of 15% to 26% of the paid-up voting equity share capital of the bank. Of course, it must be pointed out here that these are only recommendations and it could take quite a while for these to be implemented, if at all. Now, over the weekend, the reported addition in COVID-19 cases suggested that India may be witnessing a resurgence of the virus after the festive season. India reported over 45,200 cases in the 24 hours to 8 a.m. yesterday, that is Sunday morning, and that takes the total tally to just under 91 lakh. Globally, the US continues to be the hotspot for the virus, with close to 1.8 lakh fresh cases being reported daily over the weekend. In that country, the head of the federal government's Operation Warp Speed said the US will hopefully start vaccinations against the virus in less than 3 weeks. Back home, Bharti Airtel chairman Sunil Mittal has said that there is an urgent need for a hike in telecom tariffs, as he believes that the current rates are unsustainable. But he conceded that Airtel could not move on tariffs unless the rest of the industry moved as well. Customers of HDFC Bank faced problems with digital transactions on Saturday after one of the bank's data centers saw an unexpected outage. The disruptions had affected the bank's automated telemachine network as well as transactions on UPI, credit cards and debit cards. The bank yesterday reported that the services that had been impacted following the outage had been restored. Now, foreign institutional investors have poured in quite a bit of money into Indian markets and primarily into the equity markets so far this month. There's still a week to go till the end of November, but FIIs have bought a net amount of over 49,550 crore rupees. Do keep an eye on the daily figures over the course of this week. In international markets this morning, 2 of the 3 early risers in the Asia-Pacific region were trading and both of them were in the green. And indices futures as of now indicate that equities on Wall Street will also start the week positive. And with that, it's over to Hormuz Fatakia for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Hormuz. How are we looking at the start of the week?
Good morning to you, Alex, and to those tuning in as well. The final trading day of the week was a good one for the markets. The Nifty resumed its march towards 13,000 after a one-day pause. The week, though, belonged to auto stocks and PSU banks, which emerged as the top sectoral performers for the week. So what are the other stocks that are likely to be in focus other than the banking names which Alex spoke about earlier in the piece? Bharti Airtel, which will acquire 5.2% stake in a special purpose vehicle called Avada MH Buldhana for an overall consideration of 4.5 crore rupees. The SPV was formed for the purpose of owning and operating the captive power plants. Motherson Sumi held an analyst meet where it has guided for $36 billion in top line and 40% ROCE under its Vision 2025 program. It aims to utilize 40% of its consolidated profit as dividend. Funding for growth will come through internal accruals, debt but not exceeding 2.5 times of net debt to EBITDA, and an equity issue if required. Reliance Industries, which was the worst performing stock on the index on Friday, which will be in focus after it received approval from the Competition Commission of India for the acquisition of retail, wholesale, logistics and warehousing business of the Future Group. JSPL standalone sales for the month of October grew 10% year-on-year. The company also reported a 37% growth in its exports, which contributed 28% to the overall sales volume for the month. The company also reported the highest ever production of pellets and wire rods for the month. Petronet LNG has signed an MOU with the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas with an objective to foray into the green energy and biofuel space. It will also be setting up compressed biogas plants under the government's Sustainable Alternative Towards Affordable Transportation initiative. IIFL Securities has approved a buyback of equity shares. It intends to buy back 1.67 crore shares or 5.2% of the total equity for a total consideration of 90 crore rupees. The buyback price of 54 rupees a share is an 18% premium to Friday's closing price. Prestige Estates told PTI that it will be developing 4 new housing projects in Bengaluru, Goa and Hyderabad for an investment of over 2,000 crore rupees amid a recovery in demand for residential properties. Chairman Irfan Razak told PTI that the company will develop nearly 3,400 housing units in these projects over the next 3.5 years, and that the company has already sold 50% of the units in its Hyderabad project. CG Power's lenders have agreed for a one-time restructuring of the company's loans, paving the way for a takeover by the Chennai-based Murugappa Group. The binding agreements, which were executed on Friday, will involve Tube Investments paying a sum of 650 crore rupees upfront to the lenders of CG Power. Also, debt worth 200 crore rupees will be converted into non-convertible debentures having a tenure of 5 years, and the lenders will also be paid the proceeds of the sale of CG House on an as-is, where-is basis within 5 years. Some buzzing stocks from Friday's session. Wockhardt ended locked in an upper circuit of 20%, its biggest single-day gain since September 2019. The stock ended higher for the 5th straight day and at the highest level in 9 months. The stock has gained 35% in the last 5 trading sessions. Bharti Infratel, which ended 18% higher on Friday post-completion of merger proceedings with Indus Towers. The stock has gained in 6 out of the last 7 trading sessions and is up 24% during the period. And Quest Corp, which ended 14% higher on Friday, which was its biggest single-day gain since August of 2016. The stock ended at the highest level in 8 months. Some updates from the Fno Space. The 13,000 call option of the Nifty for the monthly expiry has 36 lakh shares in open interest. Among stocks in the Fno ban, Nalco is the new entrant to the list, while SAIL and Sun TV are out of the ban. Early ticks on the SGX Nifty indicated that the index traded 60 points higher, around the mark of 12,950. Do log in to BloombergQuint.com to keep yourself updated on the latest happenings in the world of stock markets. And with that, I wish you a safe day ahead, and it's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Hormuz. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day and an amazing week ahead.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Pesa Vesa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.